שואל אומר, רבי שמואל אומר, הלומד על מנת ללמד, somebody who learns in order to teach, מספיקים בידו ללמוד וללמד. That's his purpose. His purpose is that I like this on a theoretic level, but I like it enough that I really want to infect others with it also. I want to excite others also. So they're masbikim biyado. He has siyata dishmaya to teach, to be able to learn, to understand himself, and to teach. Halomed al menat le'asod. However, somebody who learns in order to do, he learns in order to grow. It is not just a, infatuation with knowledge by itself. No, I'm infatuated with knowledge because I want to discover my inner resources. I want to discover where I could go, how I could change, how I could be better, or just the journey of life, how I could put it on, how I could affect it, what are the ways I could do. Then masbikim biyado lilmod lamed, such an attitude, such a desire. Over here he's talking about just the desire. What is he doing? What makes him tick? We say in English. What makes him tick? He's interested in knowledge so much that he wants to affect others. Not a bad thing, but not the highest thing. Not the highest. The highest thing is he's interested in knowledge because he knows knowledge, if I could use a cliche, is power. Knowledge will let me know, once I know something, I could work with it, I could grow with it, I could affect change, I could deal with it. Then he has siyata dishmaya. That desire enough, but that desire alone is enough to bring masbikim yado lilmod lelamed, to study, to be able to learn it himself, lishmor vela'asot, to keep and to do, to keep and to do. Apparently nobody does it for prevention. We are not usually aware of prevention, right? Life is always, and you want to have a good relationship, and you want to have a good business, a successful business. There are two parts to it. There is sur merav aseto, pasuk telim. You have to see what are those things that are harming your business, harming your relationship, harming your endeavor. Try to combat them, prevent them. There is preventative. And there is then what you need to do. Right? That's lishmor vela'asot. Lishmor is to keep it, to maintain it, protect it from those that would undermine it and destroy it. And then la'asot, to do and grow. So I'm just pointing out that it says in the desire, it says desire to do. When it comes to our desires, we're not thinking so much of problem solving. We're not thinking of so much solving, right? Why would I think? I want to start a business to know how to shut down those who want to steal from me. That's usually should not be the desire. The desire is I want to grow. Now, then once I want to grow, I will have to do that also. So in the desire part, it says la'asot. But the siyata dishmaya, he will also have to know how to protect, how to maintain. A lot of times, we have that issue. A lot of people are excited, are energetic. They have the la'asot part, but lishmor, that they don't have. And sometimes we have those who are so excited to do that they don't put in enough safeguards, enough make sure that they have blocked all types of minefields. That they don't do. So there is a siyata dishmaya. If one truly wants to grow, that he will be given the understanding, the means and the tools to be able to do those preventive measures also. That's number one. Rabbi Tzadok says, Al ta'asem at-Torah lehitgaddel bahem. Torah should not be used as a crown to glorify the one who has it. That should not be my purpose. That should not be how I look at my Torah. Why? I remember one of my cousins, when she was 11, someone asked her, who do you want to marry when you grow up? So I want to marry a rabbi. Why? So they could call me Rebbitzin. Okay. So for an 11-year-old, I think that's a good answer. But that's not what it should be, Rabbi Tzadok is telling us. Rabbi Tzadok is saying that should not be. I think more or less we have cured this problem. We have rabbis have lost a lot of status past century or so. We have cured. I don't think anybody wants to become a rabbi because he's called the rabbi. I don't know if that's true. Maybe there are some. ולא קרדו לחפור בהם, or חס ושלום, to use the position, to use the Torah, I should say, to use the Torah as kardom, as a hoe to dig with. Use it as a utensil to get your way. That should not be it. I don't know if I said this here or not. I don't know if I said this. I wanted to write I wrote a letter to the city to fix the potholes in the alley behind our house. It was very hard. So I didn't know if I could put it on the stationery, my stationery of the Rabbi of Avoth Shalom. On one hand, I would do it. It may have a bigger effect. They see as an official stationery, someone who has a communal position. But on the other hand, can I use this position for what I looked at as a personal endeavor, personal gain? So I asked Allah. I said, I don't know if I should do it. And they told, no, you should do it. Why? Because the alley is not only for your own use. That's part of our communal service. That's part of our communal responsibility. That we want the city to be nice. We want the services to be available for it. That's you do something for the people of your congregation or whatever, for the city at large. But if it was truly a personal thing, then yes, that's what this mission is talking about. Not to use one's Torah as a means.
How long ago did you write it?
How long ago did I write it? Many years ago. Many years ago.
Did they fix it?
No. No. They, if you need to know, they told me they shut down that office. They shut down the office in LA, not Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills still has it. But the office in LA that fixes sidewalks and alleys are shut down. They don't even have anybody looking at it. They don't even have any idea or any budget, or it's not on the agenda anymore. It's non-existent.
No.
It's literally non-existent.
That's why I was, surprised that.
For streets they have. For streets they have. I've called a number of times for lighting. Our street was very dark because a number of those lights were broken. So you call 2-3 times, they come.
Right.
They come for the lights. They come. Even that they weren't that good, but now they're better. Whatever. Trash pickup was another problem. I finally found out what is the right people that I need to go to. When there's illegal dumping in alleys, so they do. If you know who to call, they do come up and pick you up. There's illegal dumping in an alley. Okay. וכן היה הלל אומר, Hillel also said, דהשתמש בתגה חלף. Somebody who uses taga is the Aramaic of a crown, taj, exactly, cholaf, will be taken away from this world. Halamata Kulaneh V'divrei Torah. Anybody that wants to make personal gain from Divrei Torah, from the words of Torah, Noter Chayav Min Haolam Chas V'Shalom. That's a segula for a short life. That's a segula for a short life. Okay.
Taj Torah.
Yeah, he wants to make personal gain out of his knowledge of Torah.
Why you call it segula for short time?
That's what he says. He says, "Notel chayav min haolam." Why did I use the word segula? I was just trying to say it in positive manner. I don't know. Why did I use the word segula? I don't want to say it's a curse, but you know.
Saga nehora, huh?
What's the difference between taga and atara?
No, Hillel, Taga is the Aramaic word.
That's the Aramaic.
You know, Hillel was called Hillel Abavli. Hillel was brought up, Hillel came up from Babel. Hillel was born in Babel. Then he moved to Eretz Israel and he became Nasi in the famous story of Bnei Betera. Right? It says, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, apparently after 5-6 generations, the family of Bnei Betera were still clear who they were. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was very appreciative to Bnei Betera. You know what he said? He said, if I was in the place of your ancestor, your great-grandfather, I don't know if I could have done what your great-grandfather did for my great-grandfather. Bnei Betera were the Nasim. They were Talmid of Shemaya and Avtalion. They were the Nasi, the family of Bnei Betera. They said Hillel had just come up from Babel. He was born in Babel. He came up to Eretz Israel, and he became part of the Sanhedrin or whatever. And questions came up, issues came up. Hillel, they didn't know. They didn't know. So Hillel asked if he could respond. So how do you know? So I said, if you remember, I was also a student of Shemaya and Avtalion. And I spent a lot of time. I didn't leave them a moment. I tried to suck in as much as possible from them. Meshamesh kol sorchav. So Bnei Betera vacated the position. Bnei Betera resigned. They said, if Hillel is here, he deserves Nesiut. He deserves Nesiut. So it's not simple. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says, I don't know if I could have done what your great-grandfather did for my great-grandfather. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing.
If you know Torah, you can brag about it.
What?
If you know Torah, you can brag about it.
Could one brag about it? What is the point of his bragging?
Other things you cannot do it, but if you know Torah, more Torah, let's say you know few Masechah, you can tell other people. You can, but if you for other things you cannot do it.
Why? Are you asking me or telling me?
No, over here it says if you use the crown of Torah is not good.
That's right. So that means you want to make any personal gain. You want to gain personal respect from it. Now, respect of a rabbi is respect of the community. There is a very fine line, and it's one really has to work on it. Right? I think I've said this before. As Rosh Weinberg, he had the whole world on his shoulder. He didn't have a minute to himself. He was called from Israel. He was considered the father of the Teshuvah movement. Besides that, there were a lot of non-Jews, the Noachites, as they were called. They considered him their spiritual advisor. People called him all the time. Just look at our own community. Any issue, two shuls had a problem. There was a big machloket between two shuls here. The year, few months after before he passed away. So they say it seems the only person that the two sides will listen to will say, how come? Right? Nothing. He didn't say anything. He said, how come? Nobody knew at that time he had cancer. The Rebbitzin, the wife, called Rabbi Levi Chaim. Said, do you know what's going on? He's going through chemo and he's going through this. People didn't know. So he said, I didn't know, but we didn't insist. We just sort of half suggested, half asked. And he said, I'll come right away. Because that was his personality. Any place, anywhere he knew he could be of help, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He had the whole world on his shoulder. Besides one of the greatest yeshivas in the United States with 900 students. So we asked him once, Yeah, I know. Everybody thought he would give a different answer. What was the most difficult thing for you when you became Rosh? What was the most difficult thing?
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Rabbi Weinberg.
Oh.
What was the most difficult when you became Rosh? All those responsibilities and all of a sudden are on your shoulder. What was the most difficult? Nobody would have guessed this. I mean, only he could. He was great. This is the most difficult thing I had to deal with, because from then, every time I walked into Beit HaMikdash, 700 people stood up in front of me. I had to work very hard on myself every day. They shouldn't get to my head. Should not get to my head. Now, this is greatness on one hand, but on the other hand, so don't get up. You don't get up. It's not him, it's the office of Rosh Yeshiva. If you don't get up, if the Rosh Yeshiva is not a Rosh Yeshiva, he can't affect.
Right.
Look, anybody who doesn't realize this is not really in touch very much with human psyche. You go to a speech, you're excited, everybody tells you this speaker is amazing. So unless he really flops, you'll be impressed. But if you think a person is not such an amazing speaker, it may be the same speech, you won't be so psyched. It just, the attitude you go into something is what you get out of it. How you go into something excited, you go into something lethargic and blah. That's how it is. That's the reality of what it is. So yes, in order for him to influence as a Rosh Yeshiva, he needs to be treated as a Rosh Yeshiva. He needs to be given respect like a Rosh Yeshiva. That's our job. But his job is to split hair. Now that's not an easy thing. But that's his job. That the respect is for Torah, for the office of Rosh Yeshiva, or if he's a rabbi of a shul, for the office of the rabbi of the shul. The respect is the respect of community. When you get up in front of a, in front of a rabbi of a shul, you're getting up and respecting the community. And if you disrespect the rabbi, you're disrespecting the community. There's no question about it.
The example of this is Obama is a black guy. If you were on the street, you wouldn't even look at him. Now he's getting attention because he's the president. The position of the presidency.
He's the president. Why? It doesn't have to do with his race. Anybody.
Any guy.
Anybody.
George Bush, if he walked down the street.
That's true. No, but the point is.
And I'm saying that just because he's black, they would not have given that.
Okay, let's move on. Let's not. The truth, it is the truth. When you go somewhere, you have a feeling of awe, so you'll be inspired. When you have a feeling, what do they have to tell me anyways? What does he have to tell me that I don't know myself already? So you won't be impressed. Now, so answering your questions, Mr. Emmanuel, Rosh Yeshiva may get up and say, look, there was a time that I didn't have food. I'm just making up here. I didn't have food and I didn't have shelter, but during that time I studied the whole book of whatever, the whole Masechet Shabbat. So nobody but himself could be in his own mind. But I'm telling you what Mishnah is teaching us. What Mishnah is teaching us, that if he's trying to boast, he cannot do that. If he's trying to impress, if he's trying to teach, if he's showing that, look, even when you're hungry, you could still study, if he's trying to, impart a lesson, then that's his job. That is his job. So, who are we to decide? They say Barbara Hutner was very demanding of Kodah Torah. Was very, very demanding. Somebody was disrespectful, somebody didn't get up in front of him. But they say it was clear, nobody could doubt that it wasn't personal, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was for Torah. It was so clear. I'm no Rav Hutner. I have my own issues. I have my own whatever, I still need to work on it. So, one has to work on it. It's right. They asked Rabbi Pirke was very young, 15, 16, They asked him how much of Shas he has done. So he said, half. Half. It's true, he did half. Could have done more, but it's true, he didn't lie. Half. So they asked him which half. Now it's a problem. It's a problem. Because if he says this half, it means I didn't do that half, and now he can't lie. So he said, whatever half you want. So I didn't want to say he learned the whole thing, but he got caught in his own good intention because he wasn't going to lie. You're not.
Why didn't you just say whole?
What?
I asked him, what did you learn? I learned the whole.
He thought that would be for his age. That would be boasting. So he said half. It's not a lie. He said half. That was what was going on.
Because you're saying I learned 50%. It could also be I learned 100%.
That's right. But once they tell you which half, that already he felt it's a lie. If I say this half, then that means I didn't learn the other half. So he said, whatever half you want. He felt to say the whole thing is boasting. But you're right. For boasting, it's asur. If I want to boast, if I want to say this is who I am, it's asur. It's asur. But I shouldn't say asur. Right? Mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma. Right? We had that. We had that also in Pirke Avoth. It's not ideal, I should say. No, it's for sure not asur. Right? It's not ideal. It's not ideal. That's what Pirke Avoth is talking about. Good. Do you have a Rambam here? Yeah, big Rambam, yeah?
Yes.
Rambam says, after I had decided not to talk about this mitzvah because it's clear. And also because what I'm going to say, I'm not going to be agreed on. So I will warn you, we are doing Rambam, so we'll continue to learn the Rambam. But Rambam's ideas, as he just acknowledged himself, man of truth, he is what we call in this Mishnah Da'at Yachid. Almost everybody disagreed with the extent that he takes this Mishnah to, and we're going to see. Almost everybody disagreed. Where this Mishnah is and where it isn't, they disagreed with him. So his opinion is not halacha because it's a very nil minority opinion. It's only him. It's really only Rambam, with nobody else. We are talking about the extent. The halacha, obviously, it's Pirke Avoth, everybody agrees on. But exactly how to understand it. So the beautiful thing is, Rambam says, I didn't want to say it because I understood that most of Chachamim will disagree with me. I changed my mind, and I will talk about it, regardless of the opinion of those who have preceded me or my contemporaries. I feel I need to say my opinion, and like Kachi Darka Shel Torah, right? Everybody is like when we had Sanhedrin, every person is encouraged to say his true belief. He cannot change his mind because he's a bigger rabbi than me, and he really was, because the bigger rabbi said that. He said, because of that they even asked the question from the youngest to oldest, from the least grade to the greatest. But Torah demands that you want to say your opinion. Now, first you discuss it. First you try to understand the other opinion. It doesn't mean nobody ever hears something and says, you know what, that makes more sense. Doesn't mean, nobody accepts somebody else's words. No. Sanhedrin did not take a vote till everybody tried to say their piece, tried to explain it to the others why I see that clear. And a lot of them say, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to speak because what you said made sense to me. Or no, what you said didn't make sense. They had the back and forth. Now, once you hear all the sides, and you honestly put your best judgment, honest, unbiased judgment to it, Torah demands, and what seems right he must say. He cannot give up his right. Now, he must give up his claim, his opinion, once a vote is taken. If the vote is taken and you were in the minority, you have to follow. You have to follow. What is the halacha? Sanhedrin said this. What do you believe? Once Sanhedrin this is what I say also. And what did I believe before that? That's also part of the process. So Rambam also is echoing the same thing. Those Rabbanim who preceded me and my contemporary Rabbanim do not learn this Mishnah to the extreme that I will tell you. And first, because of that, because of my opinion was a minority opinion, I wasn't going to talk about it. But he decided, no. The correct thing is that I will say my piece and let, as they say in English, the chips fall where they may. Let people see both opinions. I am the minority opinion, says Rambam, and as history played out, he's a nil minority because there is nobody else who agrees with his extent. And others have their own, where they draw the line. I believe that I would like to do justice to this, so we'll continue next week.